Herald-Times sports editor Chris Korman here, joined by beat writer Dustin Dopirak, Indiana beat writer. We are in a hotel room. I know
we
it
are.
looks like we're in some shady, I don't even know.
It looks like we're in a Motel 8. Believe it or not, we're in a Marriott.
It's a lovely Marriott. Right?
It is a lovely Marriott, actually. It's a lot nicer than the places, most places I've had to stay in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Big Ten Media Day.
Yep.
Always an exciting day.
That was your intro? You want me to take it from there?
Yeah, just go.
Yeah.
It's not an exciting day.
See, I don't mind it. Basically, in terms of the league in general, of course, everyone was just, talking themselves up, more or less. The news of the day, I guess, Michigan State, as most have figured, picked to win the league again. Coming off the getting the national championship game last year, Kalen Lucas, unsurprisingly, preseason player of the year. After those guys, Purdue and Ohio State, they don't rank the whole league. They just do the top three, and they stop after that. I guess they don't want to make
Which is
anyone feel
controversial.
bad.
Yeah, the women go all the way.
Interesting. Why is that?
I don't know. Indiana's number 9.
Really?
Both, and they do a coaches and media too.
Huh. So they just... All right. I can't see why that is. I didn't know that until he just said that. But yeah, it's a little bit strange that they don't go past number 3.
That's why I'm here.
Right? He has this sort of information. He's the veteran and all. Regardless, they go, went Purdue, then Ohio State. I guess the rest of the Big Ten team, along with Lucas, Evan Turner, Manny Harris, Robbie Hamill, Taylor Battle, and everyone, of course, Hummel.
Yeah.
Did I say Robbie Hamill?
Bob Hamill's Bob Knight's stand-in on Friday.
That's also true.
Former sports editor there.
I'm confusing a lot of things. Anyway, I guess
those guys are good basketball players, by the way. Though.
Who is?
Those guys, Manny Harris. And
yeah, they
Turner.
are. Yeah, all junior class. Basically, that's another thing that people were talking about, is just how good the junior class was in this league, and what it meant.
And the fact that
they
stayed.
They stayed. Yeah.
That was the class. That was the Eric Gordon class.
Right.
I mean, it was a great class.
Top to bottom. Derrick Rose was in that.
And the Big Ten got the guys who stayed.
They stayed, yeah, and that's why everybody's, I guess, talking the league up now. They got 7 in the tournament last year. There's 5 teams in the top 25. The ESPN USA Today polled today, so that gave just basically every coach in the conference a big reason to stand up and thump his chest today and talk about how great they were. So that's mostly what we did. Just kind of listen to that.
They're pretty good. I mean, the conference is strong right now.
Yeah.
And Tom Crean obviously was asked about this repeatedly. Okay. It was not very different than last year for Tom Crean as far as, he dealt with a lot of other reporters. I sat there most of the day and kind of listened, but, we talked to him a fair bit, and so, kind of get our shots in when we can. I was really kind of just waiting to see how other people, national media, or big time, the Chicago Tribune, or people who have a different perspective, what they would ask. And a lot of it's still sort of, okay, how's this rebuilding process going? What's it been like for you? They asked a lot of questions. Oh, what was, what did you learn from last year? That sort of thing. And a lot of that we've heard from Tom Crean. What he said about the playing in such tough conferences, they can't. Right now he's not worried about it. He's got to worry about his own team. No real nuggets of news to come out of today, as far as I can tell. No word on Bawa.
Though Jeremiah Rivers apparently had his face busted by Bawa.
Yeah.
Coming off a pick and roll.
That sounds painful.
Yeah,
but he's not expected to be out long.
No, that's not supposed to be a huge deal.
But yeah, Crean, just sort of typical saying, working every day, moving forward. Wants his team to be up-tempo, which we've talked about. Wants his team to be aggressive on defense. Needs to find leadership. Needs guys to talk. Jordan Holes, he said, has been one of the steadiest players so far. Him and Verdell Jones. Verdell Jones made the trip with Crean. He was the only player to make it. The only sophomore representative here. Usually it's a more veteran group, but that's Indiana.
That's a veteran in Indiana.
Really no veterans. So Crean just kind of took us through a little bit of that stuff. Nothing major to report. Just he's sort of locked in. You can see the look in Tom Crean's eyes as we're getting closer. The Haunted Hall of Hoops is Saturday night. There'll be a live scrimmage. For the fans, and Crean talked about that and how excited he is. Obviously, as complimentary of the fan base as he always is.
Right.
But really, just sort of very in the Tom Crean groove today. From him, and talked to Verdell for a little bit. And Verdell's I think he's excited for this year being kind of knowing what he knows. He talked a little bit about last year, and I thought it was interesting. Crean said Maui was the most difficult part for him last year. That was very early in the season. And so to me that really was sort of an indication that he didn't know what was coming. I mean, Crean very much last year tempered expectations and said, we're over and over, nobody's ever gone through this. We're at a depth that no program like ours has ever known. Those were the things he was saying, and really, I don't think it hit him. He said they were playing Notre Dame, and that Notre Dame team at that juncture.
At that point, was what, a top 15 team?
Oh yeah, I mean it was Herald-Times, it was McElharney. People really had high expectations for that team, and India ended up getting thumped, and that really got to Crean because his Marquette. I think he was still sort of. A little bit in Marquette mode. He said his Marquette team had played Notre Dame 3 times, I think, the season before. Beat him by 26 once. Knocked him out of the Big East tournament. So, for him to... I think... And that's what I think is going to happen, is that last year they were so close to it. You weren't here, but the players were so close to it and so locked into trying to get better each day that there was just no way for them to see the bigger picture. And I think just now we're getting that. And, so Crean said Maui was so difficult, and Jones said Maui was difficult too, but they said the Michigan game, they blew a 20-point lead to Michigan. And Jones said, we just felt like we couldn't do anything right. And so, and it's just going to be an incredibly interesting dynamic with the returning players and the freshmen.
Right.
Jones, I tried to get him to open up a little bit about that. And he said that these guys who are coming back it's a top 10 recruiting class. Those guys were making noise like, we're going to come in, we want to be the group that resurrects Indiana, and, saying that sort of thing. And Jones said, hey, we thought they were a little cocky when they got here. And that ended when the veterans beat the newcomers in pickup basketball repeatedly, apparently. And I said now they're gelling, getting together. There's still no real veteran presence. It's, so again, I think more and more we're learning. I think we knew this, but this is another year that there is no rubric, there is nothing to follow, there's no compare it to this year, compare it to that team. It's another crazy year at Indiana, and just kind of going as it goes.
Just having read it, and obviously being, from an outside perspective here, I mean, just kind of looking at it from where I was at the time, I didn't figure that even a bad Indiana team would be that bad. Right. And I'm not, I guess I wouldn't say I was really surprised when I read some of the stuff that was in your column today and that had been going around about Maui. But I guess that's kind of where it hits you. I mean, when they did struggle with, Chaminade and that sort of thing. I mean, just, I would think it would hit you pretty hard that you still have to believe, okay, well, we're Indiana just by wearing this, name on our jersey. We've got to get so many wins.
Right.
Maybe you get to the Big Ten, it doesn't work that way, but you figure at least, okay, well, we're still Indiana. These are still Indiana players. And I guess that would have to hit you pretty hard when you're there and you get absolutely crushed. But yeah, I mean, it definitely seems that way that everyone thinks everyone's still kind of feeling things out at this point. And point was made today that this is not an easy league to make a jump in. Basically, I mean, this team might get a lot better than it was last year, but you're not.
I don't think there's any question it's going to be much better. But right,
I mean, just talking to Ed DeChellis today. I mean, they won the NIT last year, bring back an all-league player and 3 starters and everything, and in every preseason magazine they picked to finish 9th.
It's because they lost their heart, man. They lost.
They did lost Jamel Corner. That was a huge, but still, I mean, that's, you would think that's a team on the upswing. They're picked to only finish ahead of Indiana and Iowa by most magazines. So that's saying a lot for who's above them and how hard it is to move up in this league right now. All
right, other news of the day: Indiana confirmed that Bob Knight will not be coming to his Hall of Fame induction. The reason he gave is he did not want to detract from the media coverage of the other inductees. We weren't going to write about you anyway, Bob.
Nah, Bob, we were just going to let that go.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
It's time to watch the Phillies.
Yeah.
We'll catch up with you guys later. We're on the road for a couple more days. We'll be heading toward Iowa at some point.
Maybe.
We'll catch you then. We'll write some advanced stuff about the Hawkeyes.
Discuss football and stuff.
Huge game. Anytime you get to go play, a top-ranked team, undefeated team,
at
their home place, great opportunity. Should be fun. Thanks. We'll see you.